again, everybody. I'm Ray Braselton, your host of The Music Show.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host of The Music Show,
Of The Music Show, too.
Both in the same show. Isn't that
ironic?
Ironic.
We work together, we
yes.
play together, whatever. Yeah, but in any case, we're here, and we just want to let you know that we have one heck of a band. It's called the James Crouch Band. And I think you'll really enjoy this show. The music is a blues rock.
Blues rock orientation,
and
right, yes.
For me, anyhow, it's wild. I mean, it's great. It's
nice rhythm, nice.
Jim is just
the lead work on both parts.
Oh,
two leads.
We got Jim Crouch, of course, doing lead, but we got your old student there,
Spencer.
Little Spencer. Yeah. No, he's a grown man now, but he used to take lessons from.
First time he was on our program, how old was he? We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, 10 years
when we get him. Yeah.
But in any case,
just a little kid. He was only about this tall. Right?
Well, we're just kidding him because he's sitting right over there. Watch this. But in fact, you'll enjoy the show. It's got a lot of music by people like well, actually, most of it's original except for two, I think. And but there's a lot of there's a tribute, I think, to Jeff Beck.
Jeff Beck, they do
that James Crouch wrote.
Right.
And a fantastic tribute. The songs between the two guys, your student Spencer, wow, is he grown.
I think, yeah.
Oh, between he and Jim, they complement each other. It's so unbelievable.
Right. And everybody's pretty much together. That's
right on. Very tight
player
band.
And drummer.
Thank you, really. Of course, we have our
few vocals too.
Yeah.
Don't forget the vocals.
Well, the three guys singing.
Yeah.
That's 3 mics. So that's our main show today. I know you'll have a good time watching this show.
We have Uncle Nick's Corner.
We have Uncle Nick's Corner.
God only knows what we'll cover on that. And, the showcase will be interesting.
Showcase will be very interesting if you want to learn how
to
promote yourself.
Yeah, we did that once before, but yeah, this is a slightly different perspective.
Different
than
perspective.
We did before.
Yeah. And then of course our round table and
the old round table.
We
King Arthur's going to be here tonight. I understand. Yes.
So everybody, stay tuned. We'll get right in there and
don't
enjoy
touch
the
that
show.
Dial.
We'll have fun tonight.
Hi there, everybody. I'm James Crouch. We are the James Crouch Band. We are from upstate New York, and we're very pleased and honored to be here on The Music Show. Here's an original song called Beck in Blue for Mr. Jeff Beck. This is one of my favorite songs, a beautiful song called Running on Faith.
Lately I've been running on faith. What else can a farmer do? But my world will be right when love comes over you. Lately I've been talking in my sleep. Can't imagine what I have to say, but my world will be right when love comes back your way. I've always been one to take each and every day. Seems like by now I'd find the love who cares. That's just for me. Then we'll go running on faith. All of our dreams will come true, and our world will be right when love comes over me and you. I've always been one to take each and every day. Seems like by now I'd find a love who cares. It's just for me. Then we'll go running down faith. All of our dreams will come true, and our world will be right when love comes over me and you.
Hello once again, I'm Ray Braselton, your host of the music show, and this is our interview with this fantastic band that we've just listened to. Let them introduce themselves. We'll start out with the leader of the band. How about that? We got here. Go for it.
My name is James Crouch, from Sodus originally.
I'm Tim Burnett, originally from Savannah, New York, now residing in Clifton Springs.
I'm Bob Diaz, bass player originally from New York City, now in Macedon.
And I'll come around here.
Spencer Wasdorp from Wayne County and in Wayne County.
I'm Rich Morlock, the drummer from Geneva, now residing in Palmyra.
And I'm back with you again. Yeah, we have a group here that's kind of a blues rock group. Very, very entertaining, very wild in my opinion. I guess it's just I'm getting old or something, but to me this was really wild. And they do, again, a blues rock, I guess akin to B.B. King, and I got Stevie Ray Vaughan, and can you give me a couple other people? Those are two of the
Jeff
good examples.
Beck
Jeff,
and,
really,
Eric Clapton.
yeah.
Eric Clapton, yeah.
And they also open for people that you might recognize, like the Marshall Tucker Band. Also the Blue Oyster Cult and Bo Diddley and Molly Hatchet, and I'm sure many others. So
Rick Derringer and a few others, yeah.
Gives you a good idea of the kind of music that they do. Another ASCAP award-winning group, or I should say, Jim, you're the one, right? For writing.
I was the
music?
writer. Yeah,
The writer.
yeah.
So that's where he got.
I was
that.
in Florida at the time, and these guys were up here.
Yeah. Well, you've recorded with. Can maybe you tell us, Jim, who you recorded with?
Well, I had the pleasure and honor of working live and in the studio with Banner Thomas, who was the original bass player for Molly Hatchet, Tom Curielli, drummer, longtime drummer of Rick Derringer Band, who had the hit Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo and Hang On Sloopy. And I guess those are
Several.
two of the big ones. There was a few others.
You've
yeah.
been out. Actually, you personally, you've been all over playing with many top groups and world-known people in the groups that have played. And you've
Been
played.
able to open up for quite a few.
And all over the world. You've been in different countries.
My best time, I think, was one gig I did in Italy that was at a 900-year-old castle.
We're going to talk about that a little later.
We'll talk about that a little.
But now, how did you pick up these strangers? One of them you've known for a while.
I've known this guy for a long time. He's even been dragged down to Florida to work with me. And we had a group, Empty Arms, about 15 years ago that we played out together. And then I ended up moving to Florida about 13 years ago. And Tim did a great job and found Rich and Bob. And I had a friend
Where'd
that
you find-
happened to know Spencer.
That guy looks familiar, doesn't he? I think he's been on the show before or something. A long time ago. Yeah, it's a long time ago. And really a real good match with Jim, I must say. You or James there. I think you guys work real well together. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys have been working together for about 6 years or so? No, I'm kidding. I think you just started, well, yeah, about 6 days.
We had 3 rehearsals.
That's right. And I got to be at one of them, which was exciting for me. And when I saw them play, I was tapping. I was really excited. So I said, yeah, be on my show, please. So anyhow, everybody get ready for this show. Well, you're already into it. But in any case, we're going on with the show. Stay tuned.
Now I've got my freedom. Now I feel my soul taking life easy. It's now all I You gave me it all. You gave me liberty. You gave me the blue, not violets, roses, red. You gave unto me even wished I was dead. You gave me it all. You gave me liberty. Gave me it all. You gave me liberty. Now I've got my freedom. Now I feel my soul taking life easy. It's now all I know. You gave me it all. You gave me liberty.
Hello, welcome to Uncle Nick's Corner. As you can see, I don't have my guitar with me. Well, actually, it's always beside me. It's like a good companion, always there. But today I'd like to talk about the issue of being afraid to fail. I think that comes into a lot of, it becomes problematic in a lot of our developments. If we're afraid to fail, we'll never try new things. We'll never try to stretch ourselves or whatever. I was listening to somebody talk about teenagers and how sometimes they're afraid to fail, and they used an analogy of doing push-ups, and there was a contest to do push-ups, and the goal was to do 100 push-ups. Now, there are three groups of people that approach these kinds of tasks. One, the people who say, well, I can never do that, and the thing is that if I try to do it, I'm going to fail, and they're afraid to fail, so they never try. Then there's a group of people who say, that's easy. I can do that with my eyes closed, my hands tied behind my back. Makes it tough to do a push-up, but you get what I mean. You get the analogy. But those guys will do it and with no sweat, never break a sweat. It's the people in between that I'm talking about, the people who are not afraid to try, even though that knowing they may fail. They're not afraid to try because they know that they're going to gain something from it. In this particular story, the guy who tried, he did like 65, 66, 60, and then he fell. He couldn't do any more. But he noticed something, you know, the people who didn't try, they didn't gain anything, obviously. The people who did it and did it so easily, and it was well within their means to do that thing, never breaking a sweat, they never really gained. But what he noticed is that he gained. He gained from it because he strengthened himself. He made himself a little bit better for it. Maybe next time he'll do 68, maybe next time 80, who knows. But the fact of the matter is we're not afraid to fail because we gain something. Now, I'm not talking to go around saying, oh, poor me, I can never get it. The thing is that we set up the ability for us to gain from what we don't do. Improvising is a good example of that. If you're always looking for the exact right note to play and you never want to play a wrong note, you're never going to experience a wrong note and know what to do with the wrong note. And that's an issue that we have to deal with. I had one student who started with me when he was just a youngster, and he said as he went to college, just before he went to college, we were talking and reflecting on his progression. He says when he first started out, it was a #1 Mel Bay book. And he says he was having so much trouble he thought he would never get it. So instead of quitting, or instead of just reverting back to little things that he could do, he forged ahead, and he forged ahead. He told me in those days he was practicing 45 minutes a day, which is unusual for anybody. And as he did, he overcame it. And what had happened was he fell in love with the guitar, and he started to accomplish things and started to do things. When he left me, he was doing some extra material, a lot of extra material, but as far as his progression in the Mel Bay book, he was up to the one of the last levels, and he really progressed because he overcame. He saw the challenge and overcame. And it's not a good thing to just stay where you are because it's comfortable. You got to stretch yourself. The only way you can do that is practice. So until next time, this is Uncle Nick Rita. If you have any questions or any concerns about what we're saying or what we're doing on these in these sessions, I would readily accept you to get in touch with us and just ask any question. We'd be willing to tenor any questions. But until next time, we'll be seeing you.
Hello, everybody. Again, Ray Braselton, and we're here with our showcase part of the show. And today we have Jim Crouch. I wonder why. He's been here all day. All day. Almost. And you're going to help us learn a couple things today. In fact, the title of this, it should be right on your screen now, or coming right off. Yeah, see it right there. It's called How to Promote Your Music. And I think this might have been your idea. It was a great idea. So there's a lot of people out there that are going to appreciate this because it's not easy to do, is it?
No.
It's very difficult.
Very difficult.
And a lot of people try and don't know how to go about it. And some things work and some things don't. And you got to be willing to probably risk a little bit on that area.
Trial and error is one way to find out.
Yeah,
money helps.
Money helps.
Money helps.
Well, let me see. Going by my notes here, I guess I should really just let you take off with it. What's some of the ways to actually promote your music? I know I heard of Amazon.com. I've heard of Spun Music. Is it called Spun?
Different. Obviously, the internet was something I concentrated on.
Yeah.
Because the internet basically is at least inexpensive, if not downright free. Mm-hmm. And it's global. Mm-hmm. Free and global is a good combination. Mm-hmm. Promoting music in the digital age is kind of a catch-22 because now with the internet we can get it out there, but it also the internet has devalued the price of your music. So you get something, but you have to give something up.
Right. Well, you were talking about contacts. There was something you were talking to me about. A college, was it in Florida of some sort?
One of the best assets I had in my career was an affiliation with Full Sail University in Orlando, which is a college where you go to for all types of media applications. Recording studio, live show setup. There are kids that have graduated from Full Sail that worked for George Lucas making movies and games. They make anything
commercial,
anything of media that has to do with the media, and that is an extremely professional, and they have all the toys, and they didn't spare a dollar when it came to making the college.
But how much does it cost you?
Right now, I think it's over $50,000 a year.
No, yeah, to belong to it, but
to go to this school.
But didn't you say that they help you, people, with their? I was under the impression that they help people to promote their music for little or nothing.
They actually gave me a class. I was a subject of one of their classes, and they made
so you
up
had to be a subject for that.
I was a subject, hypothetical, and they did make up a very nice press kit for me. Yeah. Speaking of press kit, there again, it's all about getting your name out there, getting newspapers to write about you, getting websites to write about you, music websites. The biggest thing, if you can do it, and it's a very expensive thing to do, but everybody in the business worth of salt has a publicist.
Okay.
A publicist, get your name out there. It's their job to get your name out there.
In all different types of?
Depending on probably who you hired and what their realm of expertise is, etc. But a publicist is an extremely important factor because it's very difficult to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Somebody else selling you.
That's their career. That's what they do for a living.
That's what they do for a living.
Right.
And then you're not bragging about yourself. Somebody else is bragging about you.
Yeah.
They're much more likely to pay
believe
attention.
you.
They're much more likely to believe you. Exactly.
Well, you've got a nice website yourself, and I believe what is your website?
Mine is myspace.com/The James Crouch Band. I do love my MySpace. It's all free. It allows me to post up to 10 songs, my schedule, my biography, a little map of where my hits are coming from, basically everything, and it's all free for the artist. It's a wonderful thing.
Now, when you go to do, because I know you do CDs, and we're going to be talking about your CDs during the round table and showing them to everybody, and but when you do them, who pays for it? Most people, I think, usually pretty much pay for their own CDs when they when they make their CDs, when they have them produced?
Most people have to go in and put out money for the studio, the engineer, their musicians, unless they have, of course, their own band, etc. And maybe the whole band will pitch in together. I paid for my first CD and had made enough connections, and then also with my connections with Full Sail, I actually managed to get paid for the remaining 7 or 8 CDs.
Well, that's because you're so good. Because I tell you, there's not very many people that can do that.
There's a lot of great people out there these days. Yeah. A lot of great players.
There sure are, but not very many can get somebody to pay for it. You have sponsors, I believe.
I have some endorsers.
Endorsers, I mean.
And I did have some sponsors also. A sponsor brought me to Europe. Some sponsors paid for some of my CDs as far as the manufacturing. We hired Grammy-winning engineer, Mr. Juan Kovas, a man I love and respect dearly. And that was paid for by a sponsor. And it's a music business is a very, very expensive proposition.
It is. In fact, I'm asking real quickly, how did you get somebody to pay for that? I mean, how do you get a sponsor if somebody wants to get a sponsor?
I guess they have to like you.
Okay, so they might see you playing out or something.
Exactly.
How about a publicist? How do you get a publicist?
That I had to hire. I had a couple of years where I had enough to put a little bit into a publicist, and that is where a lot of my press came from on the internet, and the listing with all my heroes on the Eric Clapton discography site, and a lot of the press that did happen was from the short period I had a publicist.
Well, we're going to have to wrap it, I guess, but the truth is that it's not easy, but it's doable. You do have to put a lot of time and work and effort and sometimes money into it.
And you have to love it.
And you have to love it. So, everybody, I hope you loved this segment. We enjoyed showing you, teaching you, telling you a little bit about it. I learned, and I hope you get something out of it. So we'll see you pretty quick here. See you in a bit. Once again, welcome to the Music Show. I'm Ray Braselton, your host.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
And we've had quite a enjoyable day today with our band, the James Crouch Band, and I guess we can...
of which we have 2 more members left.
Yeah, I think they all...
we allowed the others to be dismissed.
Yes, we'll put it that way.
Right.
But this is James Crouch of the James Crouch Band, Jim, and you want to introduce
Spencer Washdorf.
Yeah, Spencer. Yeah, Spencer's been on the show before. And,
long time ago.
Right.
Yeah. You were like one of the first.
Yeah.
I think we were the first band to do it back in the day when all those kids were together. Yeah.
Right. Well, for the kids, we had.
Wasn't that shortly after some kind of a Battle of the Bands thing?
It may have been.
Like that.
We did a Battle of the Bands tour around Wayne County.
Right.
Yeah. So you've been on twice, I believe.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've been on. And Jim, this is your first time on, but Jim and I go back a long ways. long ways. Jim actually worked for me at my place of business, Braselton's Music in Marion, and that was back in 1978 probably, or was it that far back? Maybe the 80s? I almost
early 80s, I do believe.
Maybe early 80s.
I do believe.
Right? And we had a lot of fun.
Time ago.
Yeah,
before Spencer was born.
That was way before, and also...
Probably was even a thought.
And also, some of us had long hair.
And
some of us had hair. So we go back a ways. But in any case,
his hair is wavy now. Wavy bye-bye.
Well, we're going to have to go to the mailbag.
The mailbag
in just a second, and but we have a great show for you. With we had a great show for you, and we now have a good. I think we'll have some fun talking about how this came to be, James Crouch Band, and all the ins and outs through the years with it.
So what is the mailbag?
The mailbag
question
comes from Eric Johnson.
Eric, I know him.
You know him?
Yes, yeah.
Eric asks. Well, I gotta look it up, I guess. Eric asks.
Is there something about?
Explain in one sentence what song, what kind of music you like.
We like, right?
And why?
Why? In
one sentence. And somebody suggested that we all answer that one.
I think that's a good idea.
So I'll start.
We're all musicians here.
That's right. I would say that I can't give you an answer to that.
Why?
Because I like all kinds of music.
Yeah, but
And,
you have to have one. that you
predominantly
kind of-
one. I have a very hard time coming up with an answer to that one.
Seriously?
I really, seriously don't have a predominant one. I'll have to say I tend to lean a little towards country. I knew it. I didn't want to say it, but
You were just reluctant
Yeah, right.
to say that because you knew the response it would
exactly.
get.
But the reason I'm saying this, I mean, the reason I'm telling you is that I have actually hear stories in country, and I like to hear the stories, the hard times, the good times, and
So you like
experiences.
vocal music that has
Stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that would be.
You're not alone. Very
Okay.
popular music these days.
I'm not sure if I. Yeah, it is, but I'm not sure if that was one sentence. Your turn.
Well, we'll let the youth go first.
Yes, there. Go for it.
I guess.
One sentence.
Come on, Spence. This isn't all that tough.
Well, it is like it's like Ray said. You know, you like all types of music, but I'd have to slim it down. Out of all the types of music I like, most predominant one would have to be probably rock and roll because you can just feel it. It drives, and sometimes it can tell a good story and keeps people dancing in a good mood.
That's true.
End of sentence.
You did better than I did.
Yeah. He stuck to one sentence, right?
I tried to. You
He
know.
stayed with the program. Jim, it's your turn.
Okay, it is my turn. I think I would have to say I prefer instrumental music because I love the feeling it gives to me. To me, music is all about the feeling. And to me, the instruments give me the feeling, more so than vocals, mostly. Not exclusively.
When they play as good as you do, they do.
And there's a lot of great players out there.
Oh, there are. Okay.
I think I really like country western the best.
No.
He's pulling your leg out there, believe me.
No, actually, everybody's right. That is a tough one to. And it all depends. Like for instance, I separate vocal music and call it poetry. Like Paul Simon is one of my favorite, and not so much the music, although his music fits with the lyrics wonderfully. But I do love the lyrics he does. But if I'm listening to music, I like to listen to something that's challenging, that's going to bend my ear. After listening to music, as long as I could remember Ramona, the Mission Bells, my parents playing big band music on the Victrola. And after all that time, you kind of look for something that's going to be different. And so, there's a lot of that's basically what I look for. But it all fits the mood, whatever you're looking at.
And it's hard to say it in one sentence because you're
Yeah.
absolutely
Well,
right. I
was-
love Paul Simon myself.
I have a 6. This is remarkable. A 6 CD changer in my car, and I have John and Bucky Pizzarelli. I have bookends, Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel. I have Bernie Williams. Bernie Williams is a great guitarist. He does. I have one of his. I have Olden in the Way. It's a bluegrass with Jerry Garcia and the mandolin player. I forget his name. Dave Grissman. Thank you, Dave Grissman. And
Thanks, John.
so there's it's just a wide and it. I don't think any of us could really say there's any one kind of music that we like.
Whatever suits your mood at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, I was
Could
just
be,
gonna say
could
it
be.
depends. What mood you're feeling.
There's the sentence.
Yeah.
Well,
Paragraph.
thank you guys very much. Eric, we hope that gave you a little perspective on us. We'll ask you the same question. We'd like to know from you. So write us in again. And if you'd like to write us in, you can always get a hold of us at that email address right there at the bottom of the screen.
Mike's putting it there now.
He's
I
right
Eric
there.
Johnson, the guitar player?
Yeah, I was just gonna say Eric Johnson, the guitar
Wow.
player. He's watching this
One of
show.
our fans.
Yeah.
So let's get back to
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
let's get back to our guests. Again, we have the whole band. Do you want to mention the other names?
I would be honored to mention the names. Mr. Tim Burnett, one of my oldest and dearest friends. was on vocals. Mr. Rich Morlock, who I just recently met. Hard to believe because he melded in with us so well on drums. Mr. Bob Diaz on bass and vocals. Same story for him, melded in beautifully. And then Spencer, I was very fortunate enough to hear about Spencer through a family member of his who was a friend of mine. And
it's neat that you both were involved with my studio through the years.
Yeah, it's fun.
And two different generations, basically.
Pretty much.
So I think that's interesting. No, that you guys beautiful together. You guys are tight, and your vocals are very good. You got a very good vocalist, that Tim Burnett. What's his last name?
Tim Burnett, and he has worked with me numerous occasions in Florida, and we had a band called Empty Arms about 15 years ago till about 13 years ago, and that's when I left and moved to Florida.
But you just came over here recently. You've only been, this group that you've watched today has only been together for about 4 weeks.
Three rehearsals.
3 rehearsals, okay. So that's pretty remarkable.
That's the quality of the players.
That's how the quality of the players. And you know, the way you two to work together is fascinating. How you can do that. Don't you think for a guy his age that's pretty remarkable?
He's a downright little child prodigy.
Yeah, I think so.
What I found amazing is I normally do not like other guitar players because they just don't play what I want, what I hear in my ear.
Right.
Not the case with Spencer. He knows exactly what to do. He's a very old soul in a young man's body.
Yeah, well, that's good, and that's the way we raise him over at our studio.
I'm sure that's why.
But in any case,
the parents might have had something.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Greg. Dad's over there looking at me like that. Well, I guess, Jim, I know that since you left me and you 25 years ago, I was going to ask you, what have you been up to? But you've been all over the world, and some of the places, 3 of the places you've been to, well, why don't you tell me? There's 3 in particular places that you've been to that you seem to have nice memories for.
This year,
Italy was one of them.
Italy was one of them. This year, I'll start with the most recent. I spent 6 weeks in Bulgaria, made some new fans from Europe, which are still growing, amazingly so. 2 years ago, I did a gig under my name. I had a sponsor who ironically was an opera singer. Happened to like my music, brought me in to do a show. I played at a 900-year-old castle in Italy, rather extraordinary. And then I had been to Costa Rica to do some writing, and I had been to Amsterdam also to do some writing. And I do love the traveling aspect. Some of my colleagues that are much, much bigger names do traveling that I can't even comprehend. I mean, they're bouncing from continent to continent on a daily basis, but I didn't get that.
Is there a language problem at all, or dealing with the language?
There
to a certain
is.
degree, I would imagine there would be.
To a certain degree. It depends on where you are. I found Bulgaria was extremely difficult, not too much English spoken over there. And in the same case with Italy, where Amsterdam, basically everyone spoke English.
No, that's, do you mind if I show this? This is interesting. Just to show you the places that he's known. I don't know why I'm bringing this up now, but you were talking about being in different places. And this is a map from your website.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you call this kind of a map?
It's a hit-to-hit map. This particular one, there's several different types. And I logged that on, I applied that to my website 4 months ago when I was in Bulgaria, wanting to know where my hits were coming from. I'm almost at 50,000 hits now. That's the latest 2,000 or so. And rather amazing the scope that the internet can provide you.
And every one of those dots represent an area.
A hit from that location to your website.
So this is amazing.
And I think if I...
Just say in the past month or two you had how many hits?
It's not the quantity, really. I'm not getting that many, but the disparity of locations is
People
really
that
what
view your
amazes
site,
me.
you know.
Like just a few days ago, Vietnam, etc., and Israel, and Finland, and Switzerland, and Brazil, and Iceland, and places I never would have expected to have a fan.
What kind of a article? I found this article on you. I don't know where this came from. Oh, this is from the Southern Record.
The Southern Record.
I thought it was from the post
local.
office.
Can you? I'll show you this too. This is really neat. This is a picture of Jim with his guitar.
Jim and my friends.
Yeah, what was this all about? This article.
That actually is a wonderful synopsis of a good portion of my career. They did a great job writing it up over there. And I have to explain why it went from Jim Crouch to James Crouch. It was internet related. Obviously, James was my given name. Online, Jim Crouch and Jim Croce seemed to be too closely affiliated, and they would write to me and say, "Aren't you dead?" And I'm going, "No, I'm still here." So
at least I think I'm not dead.
At least I think I'm not dead, exactly. So I found it prudent to change the Jim, which was always my nickname, to what I was truly named, James, and it's a little more formal, so they like that in Europe. They like that kind of thing.
Of course, Jim, if you were dead, you'd save a lot of money on groceries.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, not to mention, being an artist, you'd make a lot more money when you're dead.
Exactly. That's another angle to that, right?
Yeah.
Well, now you had to have worked with some pretty famous people in and out and recorded with some famous people. Could you name a few that maybe or?
I'd be pleased. I was very fortunate. I made my headway by doing open jams when I first moved to Daytona 13 years ago. They have several around here. They have open jams everywhere. It's where you meet musicians. And through meeting musicians, I eventually was able to hire Banner Thomas, the original bass player from Molly Hatchet, and Tom Curielli, a very dear friend, who has been Rick Derringer's drummer for 14, 15 years or so. I grew up on Roy Buchanan, one of the greatest, in my opinion, blues guitarists of all time. And I was able to also hire his drummer of 5 years to also do a CD and some live shows with me.
That's great. So you now, my next question was, who did you socialize with? But
I can't forget one of my dearest friends also. Working through Full Sail University was very, very, very good to me. They're out of Orlando, and I met one of my dear friends, Mr. Juan Kovas, who is a Grammy-winning engineer and an instructor at Full Sail. He won his Grammy engineering a CD for Mark Anthony, who is J-Lo's husband.
Well, we have one more picture I wanted to show you. You want to tell us about the sketch? You didn't know I was going to get this off the internet, but this is on the internet, a sketch of him. And who did the sketch?
Diane Marshall did that sketch. I was out seeing some friends play, and she had her little drawing situation, and I sat down and she drew that, and she did a very nice job. Very talented lady. Great singer too, by the way. Diane Marshall was her name.
That's very great. Well, I think I must commend you for a real good job today. It was really fun having you guys. Spencer, it's really neat to have you here with us, with your old teacher.
It was definitely a lot of fun, that's for sure.
And with your fellow teacher partner, me, both of us together.
It's been great, right?
It's been great after 20-some years.
20
to
some
see you
years.
again. Okay.
It was good seeing you again.
Spencer.
Very, very nice. And you too, buddy.
Hey, nice.
Hey, you too, man. You ain't lying.
This is a Three Stooges skit here.
Could I throw in my website just to mention?
Oh, yes. Well, look at the CDs. We didn't even talk about CDs.
Did a few. I was very pleased to have been in the studio for the amount of time that it took to record all those CDs, because I do love the recording studio. My main website, there is, if you Googled up James Crouch Band, there is quite a bit out there. the main website is myspace.com
Yeah.
with a / the James Crouch Band.
Any other contact?
You
Email
can
or-
contact me through, an email would be crouchjim@hotmail.com.
Okay, great. And you'll be willing to perform for people.
This is what we do.
This is what we do, right?
Weddings, parties, bar mitzvahs, everything.
Anything within reason.
Okay, so any of you out there in South America, just write in. We'll get you.
I have
get 'em out
one,
there right away.
if I may, Ray.
Yes.
My portion of this I would like to dedicate to my beloved mother, Catherine McGee.
Okay. Very good.
Without her, I wouldn't be playing guitar at all, nor have had any of those CDs. She was always just stood behind me and supported me, and where would we be without family?
Right.
That is very true.
So that's
Concur to that statement.
a very nice tribute to your mom.
Thank you.
And that's what the show is for, your mom. And all of you out in Rochester. And we'll say goodbye at this point and hope to see you very soon.
Come on, everybody gonna swing and come along.